Expert, his success depends on his accidentally passing away at a certain suitable time. The suitable times at which one passes away and does not come back are explained by the Lord in the next verse. According to Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushan, the Sanskrit word kala, used herein, refers to the presiding deity of time. Text 24. Agnir Jyotiraha Shukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Pratyata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vidojana. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery God in the light at an auspicious moment of the day during the fourth night of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Purport. When fire, light, day, and the fourth night of the moon are mentioned, it is to be understood that over all of them, there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. At the time of death, the mind carries one on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahma Jyotir. Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. Others have no control. If by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment by accident or arrangement. Text 25. Dumoratris tata Krishna sanmasa dakshinayanam tatra chandram masam jyotir yogi prapya nivartate. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fourth night of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. Purport. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapila Muni mentions that those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on earth attain to the moon at death. These elevated souls live on the moon for about 10,000 years by demigod calculations and enjoy life by drinking soma rasa. They eventually return to earth. This means that on the moon there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by the gross senses. Text 26. Sukla Krishne gati yete jagata shasvate mate ekaya yat yanavritim anya yavartate puna. According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns. Purport. The same description of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushan from the Chandogya Upanishad 5.10.3 and 5, 325. Those who are fruitive laborers and philosophical speculators from time immemorial are constantly going and coming. Actually, they do not attain ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna. Text 27. Naite shriti partajanam yogi mujati kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga jukto bhavarjuna. Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjun, they're never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. Purport. Krishna is here advising Arjun that he should not be disturbed by the different paths the soul can take when leaving the material world. A devotee of the Supreme Lord should not worry whether he will depart by arrangement or by accident. The devotee should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. He should know that concern over either of these two paths is troublesome. The best way to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to be always dovetailed in his service. And this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. The word yoga yukta is especially significant in this verse. One who is firm in yoga is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness in all his activities. Sri Rupa Goswami advises, Anashaktasya Vishayan Yataham Upajunjata. One should be unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. By this system, which is called Yukta Vairagya, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions, because he knows that his passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service. Text number 28. Vedeshu yaggeshu tapashu cheva daneshu yat punya phalam pradistam ajeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param stanam upaiti chajam. It's a long purpose, so I should drink a little something. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Purport: this verse is the summation of the 7th and 8th chapters, which particularly deal with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. One has to study the Vedas under the guidance of the spiritual master and undergo many austerities and penances while living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant, and he must beg alms from door to door and bring them to the spiritual master. He takes food only under the master's order, and if the master neglects to call the student for food that day, the student fasts. These are some of the Vedic principles for observing brahmacharya. After the student studies the Vedas under the master for some time, at least from age 5 to 20, he becomes a man of perfect character. Study of the Vedas is not meant for the recreation of armchair speculators, but for the formation of character. After this training, the brahmachari is allowed to enter into household life and marry. When he is a householder, he has to perform many sacrifices so that he may achieve further enlightenment. He must also give charity according to the country, time, and candidate, discriminating among charity in goodness, in passion, and in ignorance, as described in Bhagavad Gita. Then, after retiring from household life, upon accepting the order of Vanaprastha, he undergoes severe penances, living in the forest, dressing with tree bark, not shaving, etc. By carrying out the orders of brahmacharya, householder life, Vanaprastha, and finally sannyasa, one becomes elevated to the perfectional stage of life. Some are then elevated to the heavenly kingdoms, and when they become even more advanced, they are liberated in the spiritual sky, either in the impersonal Brahma Jyotir, or in the Vaikuntha planets, or Krishna Loka. This is the path outlined by Vedic literatures. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different orders of life. The words idam viditva indicate that one should understand the instructions given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees. Chapters 7 through 12 are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 and the last 6 chapters are like coverings for the middle 6 chapters, which are especially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle 6 chapters, in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charity, speculation, etc. For one can achieve all the results of these activities simply by Krishna consciousness. One who has a little faith in Bhagavad Gita should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, because in the beginning of the 4th chapter, it is stated clearly that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotees. No one else can perfectly understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for a devotee and fortunately gets a devotee's association, one actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. By advancement in the association of the devotee, one is placed in devotional service. And this service dispels all one's misgivings about Krishna or God and Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, name, and other features. After these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. Then one relishes the study of Bhagavad Gita and attains the state of feeling always Krishna conscious. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. This highest perfectional stage of life enables the devotee to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Goloka Vrindavan, where the devotee becomes eternally happy. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of attaining the Supreme. So, Drona, tell me what to do. Should I continue, or you want to have discussion at this point? We still have time.
Yes, we still have a little time, but we're ending the 8th chapter, and some very important points that are being made by Srila Prabhupada in the verses that you read in the purports. I think it'd be wise to stop here, pause, see if there's any questions, comments
Okay.
that any of the audience has.
Sure.
And so we have one coming in here.
Okay.
In quotation marks, simply by performing devotional service, he attains all of these. How can the value of good deeds like charity, volunteering, doing good work for the sake of good without determined?
You broke up a little bit right toward the end. I missed that last part. You can repeat it.
Okay. How can the value of good deeds like charity, volunteering, doing good for the sake of good, without expecting nothing in return, be undetermined? That come through?
What's the last phrase? Undetermined? What was that?
Undermined.
Yeah. Oh, undermined.
Undermined.
Undermined. I'm still trying to digest that question. It's an interesting question.
Do you want to elaborate on that very shortly in a very concise way, Mother Ranika? If you could elaborate on that.
Yeah. So Lord Krishna says, simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these.
Mm-hmm.
So how can the value of good deeds like charity, volunteering, doing good for the sake of good, without expecting anything in return, be undermined?
So, in other words, how can it be minimized, right?
Yeah, how can all these good deeds be equal to performing devotional service?
Okay, that's a very good question. And I really love how that's addressed in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita in a purport. Let me see if I can flip to it real quick. And I'll give you the reference so you can study it a little bit later. Yes, coming again to the point of pure devotion, Lord describing transcendental. Yeah. So text 11, chapter 12, Krishna says, if, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, meaning devotional service, giving everything for Krishna, then try to act, giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. So let's look at the purport real quick. It's very, very important. And Mother Renika, again, make a note, chapter 12, text 11. It may be that one is unable even to sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness because of social, familial, or religious considerations, or because of some other impediments. If one attaches himself directly to the activities of Krishna consciousness, there may be objections from family members or so many other difficulties. For one who has such a problem, it is advised that he sacrifice the accumulated result of his activities to some good cause, like you mentioned, good activities. Such procedures are described in the Vedic rules. There are many descriptions of sacrifices and special functions for the full moon day. And there is special work in which the result of one's previous action may be applied. Thus, one may gradually become elevated to the state of knowledge. Now, I have to stop there because that is describing one person who is Krishna conscious, but is held back because of family, social conventions, so many reasons why they can't express openly, I'm a Hare Krishna devotee. But they can give in charity, they can help other people, and that'll be counted. Now, the next one is a really important one, and please listen carefully. It is also found that when one who is not even interested in the activities of Krishna consciousness, now please note that, not interested in Krishna consciousness. We know lots of people like that. They don't care for Krishna consciousness. So are they just damned to hell, even if they do good work to help other people? No, they're not damned to hell. Listen to what it says here. It is also found that when one who is not even interested in the activities of Krishna consciousness gives charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard-earned results of his activities. That is also recommended here because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. And in that purified stage of mind, one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other experience because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to accepting Krishna consciousness, one may try to give up the results of his actions. In that respect, social service, community service, national service, service for one's country, etc., may be accepted so that someday one may come to the stage of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So I hope that answers your question because that it just every time I read that, my mind opens up even more to the good things that people do in this world. And they should not be minimized, neglected, downplayed. Why? Because the act of giving up your hard-earned resources, money, whatever it is, helping another person. You're not a devotee. You're not Krishna conscious. As Prabhupada said, you're not even interested in Krishna consciousness. See, that's the hard one for devotees. What do you mean? They're not even interested in Krishna consciousness and they're going to get credit? Yes, they're going to get credit. Devotees have to, share the credits. I'll say it in a humorous way. We have to be willing to share the goodness. It's not exclusive to us. What did it say, what we just read? You can die at the right time, even if you don't know it's the right time, and you still get the credit. That's so funny. Dying, in the moon is this way and the sun is this way. You have no idea about Vedic ideas, but you just died at that time. Prabhupada just said it. By chance or by arrangement, still you get the benefit. So here, you don't know about Krishna, you don't know about ISKCON, you don't know about devotees, but you have a good heart. You want to help others. We should encourage that. Now, I confirmed that when I spoke with Bhakti Tirtha Swami, I spoke with Sasrup Maharaj, I spoke with Swarup Damodar Maharaj. I asked them about this, and they all confirmed, yes, this is true. People do make advancement by being humble and giving to help others. Because that verse that I read to you from the 12th chapter, or verses in the 12th chapter, listen to this other verse, 13 and 14, just the translation. One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. These are all qualities that we want to encourage in people: charity, simplicity, humility, helping others. I mean, when we see someone helping another person, we should feel happy in our hearts. But he's not a devotee. Doesn't matter. He's doing something good. He'll make progress. It may take a long time. Okay, we want people to make rapid advancement, but it may take a long time. But at least let them feel happy in their heart that they did something good. I was speaking with my son today. We're trying to help my 11-year-old granddaughter make a little progress. So I told my son, I said, there's something you should try to do. Don't look for when she's doing bad. You're too focused on when she's doing bad. You get upset. You want to chastise her. I said, look for her doing something good. And he went, wow, Dad, I never thought of it like that. I said, just like the police. The police are always looking for you doing something wrong, breaking the law, and then they pounce on you. What if the police were driving around looking for you doing something good and they stopped their car and they turned on their lights? Wonderful, brother, you did a good job. Bless you. So that is what Krishna is doing for us here. He's saying, I accept even your good heart that you're helping others. I accept that. I will help you make advancement. So I'm sorry to be so long-winded, but you excited me on that question. Thank you so much, Renuka. Any further thoughts on that, Renuka?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Drona? You're on mute.
Mother Vatsala has her hand up. Please go ahead.
Thank you. My humble pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Glory to
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
I think we were talking about this from Srimad Bhagavatam today. We have to look at a couple of good qualities in other people so that we won't be criticizing too many, because I was thinking about my family. They always bring up the bad things about others. I said, let them find some good qualities in that person so that maybe, at least in the 2 or 3 major things you can find out instead of 10 bad qualities. At least bring 2, 3 qualities so that we can appreciate that person for who it is. So this is in relating to that, whenever we give it to somebody, when we give our clothes or something, our family, some of them say, why did you give that to somebody? Your friend, why can't you? I bought it for you. You shouldn't be giving it to others. So,
That's very nice.
I mean, so I always got into trouble because, doing things. So I was thinking, during the years, all these years that has gone by, sometimes I always think people should always admire some qualities in another person. Bring the good qualities first, then you can criticize them.
No, so you were just saying that you were doing like this before you came to Krishna consciousness. Am I correct? That you were being good?
Yeah, some of the things what I have, and somebody likes it, whatever jewelry, whatever I have, I would try to give it to them. Yeah. My mom or somebody else, my sisters or brothers, they will say, why I bought it for you? Why did you give it to your friend?
So this is before you came to Krishna consciousness, correct?
Yeah, long time. Yes.
So that proves the point. So you were being kind, you were being charitably disposed. Now look at you. You were engaged in Krishna consciousness. You just proved the point. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Jonah?
Yes, Prabhu. I wanted to ask about the part that you were referring to just a minute ago. In regards to, there's certain times when the yogi wants to leave his body and he'll attain liberation, and other times that one will have to return. And Srila Prabhupada makes the point that, for a devotee, a devotee really shouldn't be concerned about this. They should just be focused on their service to Krishna. Can you elaborate on that part?
Yeah, that's the most.
And I guess the other part is because fear is a natural, one of those things that everybody, people fear death and they wonder what's going to happen to me. And So in here, we're kind of finding, let Krishna take care. It seems like you're saying, don't worry about it.
Yeah. So it's included in that concept. Krishna's saying, don't worry about it, but he's also saying, get busy and become a pure devotee, because this is the mood of the pure devotee. So as we're reading these books, we have to segment the understanding. Sometimes he's talking about a Uttama Adhikari Mahabhagavad, and sometimes he's talking about a sadhika, like us. We're just practicing Vaidhi Bhakti. We were discussing this yesterday in another Bhagavad Gita class, this idea of the Vaidhi Bhakti compared to the really advanced devotee. So sometimes we want to jump to the head of the class. We want to become the whatever Prabhupada's talking about. And devotees have made this mistake over the years, trying to be on that level that Srila Prabhupada's talking about prematurely and not going through the steps. There's a whole process that we have to go through to get to that level that you're just describing. So at the time of death, we won't be disturbed. Right now, if death comes to me, I don't know what I don't know how I would act right now. I'm hoping that I've done enough service that Krishna would not forget me and Prabhupada, they would just help me, but I don't know. So that's the fear. That's the fear that Arjuna's having. That's the dilemma that he's having. And Krishna's removing that fear. Oh, Madhusudana, you killed the demon Madhu. Now kill my doubts, because I have a lot of them. We all have our doubts. You know, what happens to the unsuccessful yogi if he doesn't achieve the highest platform? Doesn't he fall back, or doesn't it become like a riven cloud? All these doubtful questions. And Krishna keeps moving the doubts away. So once we become fully advanced in Krishna consciousness, we won't worry about when are we going to die, how we're going to die. But right now, Drona, as you're pointing out, we worry about that. We think about that. In another place, I believe it's in the 10th canto, it says something to this effect, that as long as one has intelligence, he should try to live. I'm paraphrasing the verse, but that's the essence. As long as we have intelligence, we should try to live, take care of our health, because Prabhupada says, I hope this finds you in good health. Okay, he always said that. Prabhupada walked every day for his good health. Prabhupada ate a certain way. So as long as we have intelligence, we should try, don't die unnecessarily. It's called untimely death. Why should we make death come any sooner than it's going to come? It's going to come at any way. You know, there's no way you can get away from it. So we shouldn't act in such a way to make it accelerate death. I don't care. I'm just going to sit here and die. No, it's not devotee. No. Devotee should try to keep his body. It's like if you were driving someone else's car, like a rich man's car, and you're responsible for that car. You would take care of it nicely and that's what this body is. Yantra Rudrani Mayaya. It's not our body, it's Krishna's body, given to us on loan. So we should take care of it. So that fear of death is there prominently as long as we're not fully Krishna conscious. So I'll finish by saying that Srila Prabhupada, in his last days, he said, Krishna is giving me the choice. I can die or I can stay. He gave me the choice. If you want me, then you decide what you want, he told the devotees. He was so nonchalant. And devotees had a meeting and they came back and said, Prabhupada, if Krishna gives you the choice to stay or go, we say you should stay. Prabhupada said, okay. It's like, okay, no problem. So that's Srila Prabhupada. That's not me. At least that's not me for right now. So I think we hit 5:30. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much.
Really, it's a really wonderful section.
It is.
Important.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot. Appreciate
Prabhu,
it.
appreciate Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Jai Guru Srila Prabhupada.
I was,
Thank
waiting
you.
for that, I was waiting for that smile. There it is.
There was a
Krishna's
question
mercy,
in the
Jai.
chat, Balabhadra.
Yes,
Prabhu.
Sita, I'm here for whatever you
Hare
need.
Krishna. I'm sorry. I know it's 5:32, but it's
No
kind of.
problem.
Is it possible to Shari Prabhu? You can read that.
I only see one question in the chat, and that I already read that question. That was the original question.
Okay, it came to
Is there
me.
another one?
Maybe let me read that. It says, Hare Krishna Mataji, I have a general question today. In the light of ongoing tremendous crisis in India and many of our families and friends being there, how to best keep our mental peace and pray at the lotus feet of the Lord?
Well, you answered the question with the question. Pray at the lotus feet of the Lord. Pray
That's
at the
true.
lotus feet of the Lord.
Yes,
And pray
yes.
for the benefit. Pray for the benefit of the people in India. They are suffering so much right now. I have one Mataji in Atlanta. Her mother I love so much. She's such a wonderful. And she told me the other day, my mother has COVID and I started worrying. As soon as I heard the news how bad it was, I'm going to write to her tonight because I'm concerned about how is she doing. So yes, pray for our friends and family and associates in Bharat in India. Please pray for them. They need our support right now. Hopefully the U.S. government will try to help them. I believe there's some plan to send some vaccines there. So let's pray that our friends and families in India will be safe.
We can chant one round.
And I
too.
believe we can, and I believe we are not supposed to be attached to the results of our prayers, right?
No, but we can pray for others.
Pray.
Pada dukkha dukhi. The devotees are
Right.
kind for the others. We don't pray for ourselves so much. Oh Lord, give me
That's
whatever. But we pray for the benefit of others. Okay, like Prahlad Maharaj prayed. That's okay.
Okay.
Haribol.
Haribol, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you.
We can also chant.
Yeah, chant in your own home and in your
Yes.
own hearts. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you,
you so
Drona. You
So,
still on
Sharpa,
mute.
you're muted.
I'm ready to start. Thank you very much, and thank you to all the devotees
Thank you.
that participated
Hare
today. We'll
Yeah,
continue
bless you,
with this
Prabhupada.
Bhagavad Gita happy hour on Wednesday when we begin chapter 9.
Haribol.
Krishna.
Haribol. Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you.